Hi everyone, it's Diana here saying thank you for coming back to my weekly messages, psychic messages, soul messages, and perhaps a prediction or two. This is for the week of September the 3rd to the 9th. And before I get into messages, I want to say two things. One, I want to first of all say, I know that you're holding everyone affected with Hurricane Harvey in your prayers and healing energy, especially those in Texas and Louisiana, and then it came up through the states and even into Tennessee and Kentucky. We're also holding in our prayer and our healing energy the flooding victims in Southeast Asia. And we're going to hold the East Coast and also the islands along the East Coast or southeast of the U.S. in our healing energy and prayers as well. Another hurricane is on its way. We're going to hold the west of the U.S. There are fires that are just destroying so much. And what I want to say is thank you for just seeing our world in love, seeing our world surrounded, seeing our planet surrounded with the divine white light of love. And just, if that's all you do, that's fine, that's enough. Or if all you do is say bless you to all the hurricane victims and all the flooding victims around the world. Bless you to those who are suffering. And we send you our heart. That's enough to say, if that's all you say. If you want to do a meditation, if you want to do more, that's wonderful. Please do. I want to also thank each and every one of you who held me in love and said a blessing to the person who stole my identity and my photograph and my name and created other created other YouTube channels. Thank you so much. I will tell you that one more incident happened, one more channel was created before I ask you for those prayers and to bless that person who must be very wounded. And so since you've all started blessing that person, no more incidences. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just a pain in the neck. Takes up the time of YouTube workers who can be doing better things and be more productive. And I really, if that person is listening, we continue to hold you in prayer and love. And really, you have something much more productive to do with your time than go around making up fake channels. I understand I'm not the only one this has happened to. Thank you also, everyone, for your beautiful comments and the love that you send to me. I'm so grateful, and for telling your friends and for subscribing to this channel. And this channel, these weekly messages are all about sending out love to the world, as well as perhaps a prediction that can help you in your life or a message. What I don't want to in any way mislead, and so I have said that love can heal the world, and I want to explain how we can do that by changing our own personal energy in our own personal world. And I want to say, yes, it is always darkest before the dawn, and the dawn will come, but I feel we're still in the twilight. So dawn is not yet here. It will come, not yet. So there's still more work on our part to be done. That said, you know, I've been criticized a lot for pointing out where we need to add love, or pointing out perhaps some misbehaviors or missteps of the leader here, the president here in the U.S. And what I want to say to you is that is not speaking out in negativity. That is speaking out with love, but pointing out what needs to change. You know, when we look at a 2-year-old, we don't stop loving that 2-year-old for poor behavior. we reach out to that 2-year-old and we say, stop. This behavior is unacceptable. But we don't stop loving. So we reach out with an adult's knowledge and wisdom and say, stop the behavior. It's hurting yourself and it's hurting others. The energy that we're in right now, there's a slight lull, but we're in very erratic energy. If you listen to my message for the month, for the whole month of September, you heard me say that it's going to be an up and down month because we've got that erratic energy going on that we're in. And what that means is one moment we'll kind of say, sigh of relief and feel everything's okay. And then the next moment something's going to erupt. There's a lot under the surface that's trying to erupt now. And so it's going to come out, but not the big explosion. Hopefully we're going to avoid the big explosion, but what we are going to get is these eruptions. So it's going to keep things, we're not in a settled period. It's like mini earthquakes are happening all over not just in the U.S., but all over the world. But certainly what happens in the U.S. does affect the rest of the world. So we're conscious of that. And we need to perhaps work a little bit harder to hold the energy of love. Now, let me tell you how that can even change the weather, what I'm talking about here, because we're going to have more weather eruptions. You don't need me to tell you that. Listen to the weather people and listen to the truth of weather people, the real weather people. I guess there is some fake news going around that's giving out fake weather. So NOAA is always one of the good weather people, or weather channels that you trust. All right? So listen to the weather. If you are asked to evacuate, if you are told the storm is coming, I'd listen to that. I'd be packing up my animals and perhaps going inland a bit, because all of the coastal areas right now are in jeopardy. All of the coastal areas, all over the U.S. and I want to say parts of the world, not the whole world, but certainly the U.S., the coastal areas. It's not going to die down, not this season. Sorry. However, here's what we can do. You know, I'm going to use a couple of illustrations here. When I lived in California, and I lived near the coast, and I absolutely loved being at the beach. Loved it. Loved the walking along at twilight, and I was an ocean sailor. I sailed over to Catalina, to the Isthmus all the time. So I love the ocean. I love being near it. I'm not now. I'm in Ohio. But when I made the choice, and it was for family, I grew up here. When I made the choice to move back to Ohio, someone from California said to me, you know, you're moving to probably one of the safest places in the world. And I didn't really know at the time what that meant. So, you know, it's like, okay, what does that mean? I asked the person. I've since learned from others here that I am in a portion of the world, of the country, that is holding the energy of our ancestors. I'm not the only one. And I'm sort of in the north part of the triangle, a little bit northwest, north central area of the triangle. And so there are others who are holding this energy to keep a stability in the country and in the world. This is not the only place holding the energy of stability. I just happen to be in a place that is. And so that's an interesting thing that I've learned as I've been here, that yes, we have tornadoes go through, we do get storms, but they seem to not affect right where I am. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, come on, you can all move in with me. I don't think so. Not that much room. But I do feel this land where I live is highly sacred land. And so find that spot in the world where you know you belong. Because as soon as I drove on this land, I said, this is where I belong. And even the real estate agent who was with me, she said it at the same time. So yes, I have this sense of this is where I belong. Forever, I don't know. I'll leave when I need to leave. I'll know when it's time. But for now, I know that this is where I belong, and this is the energy I'm holding, and it's adding a stability to the world. And that's what I want to say to all of you. Find that place where you belong that's holding that energy of stability for your life, but also for the whole world. That's part of what we're doing. Now, how do we change the energy in the world in addition to what I've just said? And that is very simply, we change the energy in our personal world. How do we do that? Let me give you let me give you an example here. But there are three outcomes. All right. So let's say, for example, I've been off speaking, and I love to speak at organizations and groups and expos and conferences and such. And when I come back from the speaking, I'm driving home, or flying home or whatever, I'm always up and excited and having the energy of that experience with me, which is absolutely wonderful. And so let's say I'm coming out of that energy and I need to stop and get a bite to eat. And I stop at a place that it's like a self-help, well, it's not really a self-help. One of the places I'm thinking of is Chipotle, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the restaurant, it's you have to stand in line, and then you tell the people on the other side of the counter what to put on your plate or on in your bowl, or it's a burrito place, so in your burrito. So if I'm in this really up, positive, happy, loving energy, I'm going to get to that front door, and a couple of things are going to happen. One, let's say a young man, and this has happened, so I'm using real life examples, that young man with his younger son meet me at the door. And the little boy may start in, but the father will say, let's let the lady go first. That touches my heart. It touches my heart. And so I'll say thank you to the little boy, and I will say thank you to the father, because that father is teaching the little boy civility and respect. That's scenario number one. Let's go to scenario number two. Let's say, for example, let's say that I'm stressed and I'm rushed and I'm out of sorts, and I get to the restaurant and this whole family jumps in front of me to get through the door before me, and there are 5 of them, 1 of me, but golly, they don't care if they knock me down. They're just going to get to that door first. Well, what's going to happen? I'm going to stand in line behind them, and I'm going to get angrier and angrier and angrier, right? So my blood pressure is going up, and I have low blood pressure, but you get the point of what I mean. The blood pressure is going up, and I'm going, ay, vey, and this is not how I want to live my life. Scenario number 3. I can stand, in the second scenario, stand there and just get angrier and angrier. Or I can stand there and look at my attitude. What's going on with me? What's happened here? Well, I don't like my attitude, so what I need to do is change it, right? So I might stand there, and instead of grumbling silently, I might look at one of the children and smile. I might ask one of the children, what's your favorite color? Or, what about this or what about that? And I certainly will stand there and go, bless you and bless me, bless you and bless me. I won't make the hand movements, and I may say that silently, but I will bless the other and bless myself. And in doing that, my friends, we change the energy. And here's what's happened when I've done that. 2 things. 1, I've either had one of the parents turn around and look at me and say, would you like to go first in front of us? There's only 1 of you and 5 of us. Or when I finally got up to place my order, I would get my order. It would go so smoothly. We'd go to the end, and guess what? I would be gifted with my dinner. And that's happened to me a couple of times. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying we're creating our own world. And everything we create in our world is going out into the greater world. And as it goes out into the greater world, that's creating a world of greater kindness, of more compassion, of love. That's how we create this more loving, more beautiful world, by first creating it within ourselves. This week, we are going to be challenged to create that greater world for ourselves. And as we do that, we're going to create the greater world for others. That doesn't mean we don't protect ourselves. That doesn't mean in every case we can say a bless you and bless me and it will change the energy immediately. That says, number one, if the storm is coming, move. Get out of its way. You don't have to be run down by it. Two, and that's about taking care of yourself. You know, you don't walk down a dark alley alone at night. So take care of yourselves. But two, three, change that energy by blessing the other and blessing yourself, by recognizing how very powerful you are. The storms are going to keep coming. Unfortunately, they're going to even increase. It's just the way it is. So my friends, this is the week that you can make the change in your life. Practice kindness. Practice love in action. Thank you so much for being with me this week. I'm going to read a message from Philip. This is my spirit guide. For those of you who aren't familiar with Philip, there's a different message on each page. So we have to think left or right. And then I just flip through while you're thinking left or right to see if we both get the same message. So let's flip through and see what message Philip has for us this week. I'm thinking right, but I'm hearing also the left might be important. Okay, thank you. They're both important. Let me read the right. It simply says, there's more. There's more. Yeah, well, we're not through this yet, are we? We're going to get through it, though, together. And the left side says, much greatness has come through adversity. Much greatness has come through adversity. Oh, my friends, it's always darkest before the dawn. And we've got some dark days that we're going to be going through. But the dawn will come. This I promise. The dawn will come. Because we're going to create it. You and me together. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for adding love to the world. Thank you for receiving love in your life. And thank you to those who have contacted me through the websites below. Thank you for coming and getting a private reading. So I'm honored that I am able to, in some small way, help you heal your life. So we can heal the world. That's our mission, and we're doing it. I love you. Thank you so much for receiving that love, spreading it on, and giving it back to yourself. Until next week, I love you.